Yeah, so hello mentors, hello judges, and hello everyone. My name is Krishna Madho, and I'm from Team Code Crux. And this video is in reference to the final submissions of Safe Rohtak Challenge. This video is going to be an overview of literally everything. So I'll just quickly lie down the timeline. The first one will be the summary of what we did till now, like before the mentorship session. And in the second one, we'll talk about the data flow of the architecture that we created in this project. And in the third section we'll talk about the changes that was suggested by you guys, by you mentors, in the final mentorship session, and among that what we were able to implement in our project in this short time frame, and what we couldn't, and because of what sort of reasons. I'll just tell you that. And in the fourth section, we'll talk about the practicality of this project, like whether it can be implemented in real world or not. So I'll just try to pitch you why this application would be useful in the real world. And in the fifth part, we'll just discuss a few points of the future scope of this project and what more can be done in this project, because since it was a very short amount of time and we were not able to do our best. So in the future, what more can be done to this application, we'll just talk about that. And at any amount of time, if you feel like you need to skip this part, you can just directly skip to that timestamp. So let's go ahead. So talking about the summary and overview of what we did till now, firstly the user visits our portal and then he signs up with an account. And when he signs up with an account, he is redirected to his account in our portal, and then we tell him to verify his account, and a verification email is sent to his Gmail account or any email provider. And then he visits his email and verifies his account. And when the verification process is done, now he can visit all other sections in our application. So there are three sections totally. The first one is the travel section, the second one is the filing a complaint section, and the third one is the news section. So firstly we'll talk about the news section. In the news section, there are various news articles and blogs which will be updated regularly by the admins, and the user can stay updated by reading those news. And it will be very easy reach for the users to directly go in the news feed and read about the related blogs and articles. And in the second section, that is filing a complaint, I'll show you the process in which the complaint was done earlier. Firstly, the user used to type the type of hurdle, like whether it is a pothole, manhole, or a construction site or a vehicle crash, any type of hurdle he can put. And then he used to write an address, and he writes a short description, and then he uploads the image of the site, and then he files the complaint. So this was the process that the complaint was done earlier. We have made few changes which I'll be talking about in the later section of this video. And next up, there is a travel section. So I'll talk about this travel section later on, because this is the main focus, and it is a pretty much vast to explain. So I'll just talk about this later on. So I'll just tell you like how a complaint is now verified in the admin panel or the admin dashboard. So just now a person filed a complaint, so the admin logins to his admin dashboard, and then he can visit all the complaints that was done, and he can see whether it is verified or not. So he'll just visit the not verified or unverified hurdle report, and he will visit that, and he just puts the location coordinates of the site and then clicks on verify and updates the report accordingly. So this is the process that we used to follow earlier. We have made changes to this also, and as you can see, there is no option to delete the report. We have made few changes, and we'll talk about that later on. So there is also option to post news regularly. As I told earlier, that the admins will update the news regularly on a daily basis. So this is how the news is posted. User first gives a headline to the blog or the article that he is writing, and then he puts on some reference like the website name or anything like that if he wants to give any reference, and then he writes the blog. And if he wants, he can also upload a picture for that blog, and then he can just post the article on the or the blog. So now talking about the travel section, in the user application, user first opens the travel section, then he by default the origin is selected as the current location, and then he chooses the destination point. On selecting the destination, the hurdles, if there are any, are shown on the map through a red marker, and it shows the exact location of the hurdle. And when the user clicks on start navigation, our Android app opens through a deep linking procedure, and through deep linking itself we send a query, and the query consists of the origin and the destination, the coordinates of the origin and the destination. So the app receives those coordinates, and then the journey starts. And when the journey starts, it shows in real time the navigation of the user, and if there are any potholes or manuals, it says to the user before 200 meters that a hurdle is on his way, and the distance decreases accordingly when the user reaches near to that hurdle. And when the user passes that hurdle, then if there are any other hurdle ahead and it is in the range of 200 meters, in the map itself it shows that there is a hurdle on his way some meters away. Here I have made two sections. So first one is the map view and second one is the car view, and we have tried to create an animation of the car as when the location changes and the person is moving, the vehicle also moves, and when the person stops, the vehicle also stops. And in the upper section, there are few stats that we are running, in which some of the points are covered, in which we showed that how much distance the person has traveled till now from the origin, and how much distance is remaining, and how much time is remaining to reach the destination point. So when the user reaches the destination, it says the user has reached the destination, and the journey stops. And as you can see, the car also stops. So this is all about what we made earlier. Next up, we'll talk about the data flow, like how the data flows in the architecture that we created in this project. So this is a MERN stack application. So according to that, I'll tell you how the data flows. So I've created a pretty much simple diagram for this. So this is how the diagram looks like. There are various components in the data flow. The first one is the database, the second one is the backend, and the three applications. The database is the place where every single information of our application is stored, and the only way anyone can access the database is through the backend. And this is the common backend for all the three applications. So if the application has to take some information from the database, he has to go through the backend, and the backend first checks all kind of vulnerabilities, and then when it is properly authenticated, it fetches all the data from the database and gives to the user application. So the user web app and the admin web app are connected through this backend itself. So when a user files a complaint, it gets to the backend, and after all the checkings, it gets saved to the database without with a non-verified flag. So in the admin web app, when the complaint gets saved to the database, the backend automatically fetches all the complaints or the reports, and it gets displayed in the complaint desk of the admin web app, and it is not verified. So when the admin verifies the report, the not verified flag of the report schema gets verified, and it gets updated to the database. And as long as it gets updated to the database, it is also added to the map. So only the verified reports are shown on the map with the exact locations. So whenever one goes to the user application and opens the navigation app can only be opened through a deep linking procedure, and only when the user selects the origin and the destination. In the mobile navigation app, we are using a socket technologies. Every time the user moves, we send in his real-time location to the backend through sockets, and from the backend we take the information about the hurdle. If there are any hurdle around the range of 200 meters, the database gives the information of that hurdle to the navigation app, and then in the navigation app, information about that hurdle, like at how much distance the hurdle lies, it is shown in real time. So this is how the sockets work with the mobile navigation. So this is all about the data flow, and next up we will be talking about the changes that you mentors and you judges have suggested in the final mentorship session, and among that which we were able to implement it, and which we couldn't implement in this short amount of time. So firstly, I'll be talking about the changes that we implemented, and in the later section I'll just tell you like which are the suggestions that we couldn't implement and because of what sort of reason. So the first one that we are able to implement was the comment that was given by WRI team, and it was the suggestion regarding the type of hurdle, like why it wasn't a drop down. So we implemented that, and now in the complaint form there is a drop down to select the type of hurdle, because spellings, yes, you guys were correct that the spellings can go wrong. So we implemented that, and we added a drop down to select the type of hurdle. So coming to the second thing, that you guys said that it is a pretty much labor intensive for the admins, as there are too many potholes, and no admin can go to each places and then verify a report and put on the geolocation. So we gave an option in the complaint form itself to insert the geolocation of the exact place where the hurdle lies. User can tap anywhere on the map and the location will be set automatically in these two boxes. So this is what we changed in the complaint form. Next up, the third change that you guys suggested was user every time user has to open his or her file explorer and then upload a file while filing a complaint. So we gave an option to directly click a picture with the camera. So when a user clicks on upload file, there are options to select camera, and he or she can upload any picture via the camera directly. So this would be a great user experience. These are the three things that we changed. Again, in the admin panel and the admin dashboard, we changed a simple thing, that is when the hurdle is fixed by the concerned authorities, the admin can delete the report so that it will also get deleted from the map, because as long as the hurdle displays on the map, it will show on every mobile device, whosoever is using the application. So to avoid those irregularities, we implemented a delete route in the backend so that admin can delete the report as soon as the hurdle gets fixed. So these were the few changes that we were able to apply, and a few other changes that we couldn't apply because of few reasons. I'll just list them one by one and I'll just explain you why we couldn't do that. So the first one that you guys said, that it cannot be a separate app and it needs to be a plugin to the Google Maps. So I'd like to tell you that according to the terms and conditions of Google doesn't allow any kind of manipulation to their services. They have specially mentioned that you can use our services and APIs, but you cannot manipulate them. So we cannot make any kind of plugin additional to that Google Maps. So this is one of the reasons we could not use this suggestion and we could not implement this. And the second one is you guys suggested that instead of the distance from obstacle, the navigation should show a pin in the map. Like we have used the navigation SDK of Mapbox. So Mapbox SDK doesn't allows us to give any kind of markers on their navigation map, as it may produce some kind of irregularities, and this is also not provided by the Google Maps. We couldn't use either, so that's why we tried to simplify this, and we were displaying the distance from the obstacle in real time, because pins were not possible to put in the navigation SDK. We can put the pins on the map as we are putting it in the map on our portal, as you can see, but in the navigation SDK it is not possible. Next, you guys said that you have to log on to a web portal and then complain, and there's no option to file a complaint via the phone. So that is right. We haven't created any such option to file a complaint through the Android app. I'm a web developer, but because of this hackathon I had to make this Android app, so I couldn't go further as I wanted to do what I do best. So that's why I could not implement this, and after this there were only 10 days, so it wasn't possible for me to learn Android and implement this. But the user application and the Android app can be mixed together and it will be a whole lot better user experience, but at this point of time I wasn't able to implement this. In the next comment, you said that it needs to go beyond potholes. There are too many potholes, and I'd like to say you that the application is not hard coded, so you can give as many hurdle types, as many as you want. So it is not hard coded. You can give various type of hurdle types in the drop down section and the user can select it in the future. So that's it. These were the few suggestions that we couldn't implement this time, but can be implemented in the future. Now we will be talking about what is the practical use cases and whether it is practical or not. What is the practicality of this application? So I would like to say that of course it is practical. We have developed this application from a practical perspective itself. We could just make the user application and the Android application and give it to you guys, but no, we made a proper management system of like for this application, like how the complaint is to be done and how all the complaints and the reports, you guys will take care of a whole of those reports in the admin dashboard, and how you guys will verify all those reports. So we have created a proper management system by looking from a very practical perspective, Also, this application is very new, and I guess people will be curious for to use this application, because everyone wants to see that whether a pothole or manhole lies in 200 meters of them or not. In that case, many of the road accidents can be prevented, because if there are too many potholes in their way, the person will not choose that route and go from another route. So practically, I guess people will use it. These are some of the explanation that I could think of to use this application. And also the management will be pretty much hassle free, because as we created the admin dashboard, the work of the management is reduced to below 50%, because you guys just have to host this application and it is done. Like when it goes to the market, the persons will like all the users will sign up on the portal, and they will file the complaint, and you guys will verify it. And if anyone wishes, because everyone uses Google navigation nowadays, it will be nothing new to use a second navigation application, where they will get the real-time information about condition of the roads, and about like the information about the portals and manuals, because Google Map and the Google navigation doesn't gives that info. So I guess people will use it, and this idea is very much practical. So what is the future scope of this application? I have thought of a few points that can be developed in the future. Like the first one is mentioned by you guys itself. The user application and the Android application can be combined together, as there will be no irregularities in the user experience to go to a different portal and then doing the stuff. So there will be a app. There will be app only for all the purpose that is served by the web app currently. So these all the features can be integrated with the Android app itself. And the second one is in all the places where we have used the Mapbox API, as because it is free and open source. So in those places we can use Google Maps, as Google Maps is a paid service, and no map API is comparable to that. So we can use the Google Maps API for better quality navigation, and better quality maps, and better quality information in the geolocation. These are the few things that can be improved in the future, and also this project is in continuous development, so there are always some new to do and always some new features to add. So everything is welcome, and thank you so much for listening till the end, and that's it for the video.